bottom line is Eric called me at my hotel, and because I had missed three or four photograph sessions, where the photographer was there set up, his assistant was there set up, waiting for me, and I just didn't show up.
Yeah.
And so he called me and said, Leon, if you're not there, I'm going to find you. $5,000 if you don't show up today. Paul had no knowledge of this, and how could he, right?
Yeah.
I think Dave Pinzer went and asked Vader to do some interviews, and he said no. And then somebody else went and asked him, and he said no. And finally somebody said, Kevin Sullivan said, Paul, would you go ask Tim, maybe he'll listen to you, please ask him to see if he'll come and do the interview, because it's like 6 o'clock. So we only had about 15 minutes, and it was a very important interview. And I just, like I'm talking here to you, and said, Leon, do you mind doing this interview? And, he said some nasty words, and, it was kind of like this, what's your deal? And, I ain't gonna let nobody talk to me that way.
It's impossible for me to be two places at one time, so Eric said, look, man, you have to do this photo shoot, but at the same time, I was scheduled to do pre-tapes.
Yeah.
And Paul was an assistant, like a gopher, go get this guy and make sure he's ready. And he certainly wasn't my superior. I sat down next to Ming, and Ming and I were talking. And Paul walked in and started screaming at me, saying, where in the hell have you been? You're late. We've got people out here that want to take a lunch break, meaning the television crewmen.
Yeah.
And I said, Paul, first of all, man, don't yell at me. You're not my boss. And then two, I'm at a photo shoot, and one I was told I had to be at. I can't be at two places at once.
And one thing led to another. It got hotter and hotter and hotter. And then he sucker punched me. Because, I was with the office. And if I would have ever thrown the first punch, I'd been fired.
Right.
And that quick.
I took my shirt off. I was walking on my way out toward the deal, and Paul confronted me again. And this time he got in my face, and he was inches away from my face, and you're supposed to be so tough. Go ahead, take your best shot. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Come on, tough guy. Blah blah blah. Take your best shot. You fat so and so. Bleep 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 bleep.
Yeah.
So after about about a minute of this, I dropped my right hand and I slapped him right here in the face, and I hit him hard because I was upset. So when I did that, I was like, I froze, and I thought, oh my God, there goes my house, my kid's college education, because I had a long-term deal with him for a lot of money. His feet, they slapped him, hard. His feet virtually came up over his head, and when he came down head first, on the back of his head.
And I got up, and
I remember when I walked over, I put my hand on his shoulder, and I went, Paul, are you all right? And boy, he slapped his hand away and was getting to fight. I said, well, he's all right.
If the right one don't get you, the left one will. And I defended myself, and
I backed up against the wall, and I put my hands down my side, and I said, I'm not, to myself, I said, I'm not going to throw another punch. I said, he got up, and he came across, and I tried to move with it, but he caught me in the lip, cut my lip, and I had my hands down my side, and he caught me again, and boom, and caught me again the third time.
I don't know if you ever seen somebody knocked out on their feet. Have you ever seen them stumble around and finally go down? That's how he went. And I kicked him in the face about 5-6 times.
And he went for the fourth time, and I blocked it, and I said, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I just blocked it, and I just got him in the front face lock.
Yeah.
If I could have got a hold of a club or something else, I'm glad I didn't, but I would have killed him. Don't do that. That was wrong. He was wrong.
I was probably 100 pounds heavier than him and a lot stronger. And didn't have him, he's really crippled in the one arm.
Yeah.
And, had I really wanted to fight or hurt this man, He'd have never got up. He goes in the room, and I mean, I'm hearing this, boy, you really beat him up. And I'm thinking, and then I heard him something. Well, yeah, did you see him sucker punch me? And I thought to myself, how can you sucker punch a man that's 2 inches from your face, calling you a fat, no good SOB, and take your best shot? So I heard that, and then I heard like everyone patting him on the back, like, boy, you really did that. And then I kicked open the door where the executives were, Eric was there, but Shivani was there, and I said, Paul, tell you what, if you want to finish this fight, because I haven't thrown a punch yet, and you've hit me 3 times with my hands on my side, and you know what, I'm still standing here, you haven't got the job done.
Then we got into it again, and I took a couple shots. I worked that night. He had to go to the hospital.
I called him out. I said, let's go outside, let's finish this. And he wouldn't come. I finally got him to come, and as soon as he came, I blocked, I had him down. I was going to do him, and then Ming, who had went up to go get a hot dog, came over and saw it, and came over and grabbed me to stop him. I said,
it helped me to stay there another 5 years. So it wasn't all bad. But it was one of those, you don't like to do that. But then again, here's a guy that ain't been in the business, and you don't talk to people that way. Not in front of everybody in the locker. You don't do it. So it was my pride too.
Right.
I think I have to take responsibility for that, because regardless of his ignorance in terms of not knowing that Eric had me go to do the photo shoot,
right?
And even though he had totally mistreated me as one of the top guys in the company, and even if I had just been an enhancement guy, you don't treat people like that.
Sure.
Regardless of what he did, I have to take responsibility for putting my hands on him, and I paid a very dear price, because I had a long-term deal for substantial money, and it's cost me, and
it cost him a lot of money. I could have sued him.
Paul shouldn't have acted in that fashion, but in terms of this one-armed man that weighs 100 pounds less than me, that didn't happen, and at least it couldn't have been. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've gotten a lot older since then. Maybe it could have. It sure didn't happen that night.
I'm glad he hit me.
What happened with you and the Nasty Boys?
Oh man, that was a long time ago. We were in a club, and this girl that was in this club, we'd all gone there after the matches, and there was a girl in the club who had been a girlfriend of one of our friends who wasn't there, and she had been in there, and she'd wrote with me and some other guy, and we were sitting at this bar, and we were having drinks, and Nasty Boys come up, and they're all joking around, hey, how you doing, and everything, and they reached around and grabbed her tit. And I looked, and I kind of laughed. You don't go against the boys. I just kind of laughed. So we were all sitting there just having drinks, and next thing you know, he grabbed her again. And I'm not getting, I don't want to get involved in this, because I'm new in this, and I don't want to get involved. And it's the kind of joke